Well, we now shift gears into another sport, and we are talking about, Olympic Games. We are talking about Commonwealth Games, where Commonwealth Games Association, that's CGA, this coming week. The Commonwealth Sports Africa and Commonwealth Games Association has given Kenya the nod to host the Commonwealth Sport Africa and Europe regional meeting in Mombasa that will be happening in October, between October 7th and 8th of October. This is the first time that Kenya is hosting a Commonwealth sport event, a big one for Kenya, and congratulations, to Kenya in terms of getting the nod to host this for the first time in the country. This is good news for Kenya, and also shows the prowess that Kenya has in terms of hosting very big sporting events, not just events, but sporting summits and sporting symposiums. It shows Kenya's prowess, and it also shows Kenya's hospitality in the same. We are privileged and honored to be joined by Mr. John Ogolla, Deputy Treasurer, National Olympic Committee, who is also the lead technical and performance team, here with us in studio to just help us unpack, what is to expect from the Commonwealth, sport event that will be hosted here in the country. Also to look at how was their a review of the just concluded Olympic Games that happened. This is a very good thing because NOCK just had its strategic workshop the other day in Sagana. And this is the first time that this is happening within 2 months of the Olympic Games coming to an end, post-Olympic Games. It's the first time that's happening, which means National Olympic Committee is doing a lot in terms of straightening and in terms of putting matters straight in terms of sports management in the country. We are privileged and honored to be joined by Mr. Ogolla in studio to help us unpack how the strategic, workshop was and what can we expect going forward from a National Olympic Committee of Kenya. The last time I spoke to him, he was actually in Miramas in Paris, in France, as the team was preparing for the Olympic Games, miles and miles away from Kenya, but we managed to catch up. And here he is with us today live in studio to help us unpack the same. Mr. Ogolla, karibu sana to the studio.
Thank you so much.
And nice to see you. The last time we spoke, you were in Miramas in Paris, in France. And,
right.
You appraised us of what was happening around Team Kenya. And, the Olympic got over. Paralympics came also done. And within a very short time, NOCK was able to put up a strategic workshop to review Team Kenya's performance. What
right.
a way to set records straight and also to set how things are supposed to be done.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here.
Karibu.
Yeah, last time we spoke, we were in Miramas, of course, during our pre-games competition, pre-games preparation. Just trying to ensure that the athletes are well and set for the games. So the reason why we had the workshop is to just review, see how we performed, and of course, try and find out what we could have done better. Also looked at what others did. Finding out what others did that we did not do, or whatever that we need to do that whatever that we should have done that we didn't do. So we're just trying to look at how we started before the selections, when we went to the camps, when we went to the pre-games camps, and then to the competition. And of course, looking at the pathway through the qualification process. We wanted to find out from different federations how the challenges that they faced in terms of trying to qualify, the role that the government played, the role that the National Olympic Committee played, and of course the federation. So we were just trying to look at how easy or how best we can have our teams make it to the next Olympics, of course with the upcoming Youth Olympics in 2026. So just trying to look at, come up with a holistic program that can prepare our athletes early enough. So in our thinking, we have seen that it's important that we start preparing early and preparing well. Of course, this time around, we put into place some mechanisms, some structures that, of course, enabled us to perform the way we did. But we have to review what we did so that we can have it right next time.
I mean, Mr. Ogolla, this is a plus for Kenyan sports because this is the first time that we are seeing a review post-Olympic Games within 2 months. Let me ask, what's the general feel of the different federations or of NOCK of the just concluded, Olympic Games? Was it a success? Could we have done better? Do we have many opportunities? What's the general feel?
The general feel is we did well. We did well. The competition was too tough. But however tough it was, we still managed to get whatever we got. We were number 2 in the whole of Africa, something that is not easy to achieve. Looking at the resources that you have, the preparations that we had, against those who were better than us, we did a good job. The performance was positive, and we are happy about it. Even though we felt that we could have done better, that's why we are doing the review, so that whichever areas that we could have done better, and maybe a few things didn't go right, we should be able to correct that going forward. But generally, the performance was good, based on the circumstances and the resources that we had.
As we look at this, did it also come up for discussion that, we have a lot of opportunities in other sporting disciplines, because we've seen and we've had, Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen calling out that Kenya needs to diversify and have as much participation in different sporting disciplines. Did it also come in as a concern from not just NOCK, but also the other sporting disciplines?
Yes, as the National Olympic Committee, our objective was to take more sports into the Olympics. And again, different sports, the ones that have never been into the Olympics. And this time around, we managed to do 2, which was fencing and judo. Other sports or other disciplines would also want to be at the Olympics. And as National Olympic Committee, it's our priority that we support teams. So that they can qualify and make it to the Olympics. Everything starts with preparations. Everything goes through qualifications. It's not, the earlier we start, the better, because when we wait for too long towards the games, then, you find it very difficult. So the reason why we are doing this review is to have other federations learn from the ones who qualified, who made it to the Olympics, so that they can also put a similar plan, or a plan that can also help them make it to the games. So it's our priority to have as many disciplines qualified to the Olympics.
What are some of the key take-homes, do you think, that the other sporting disciplines might have taken from the successful disciplines or the successful federations that keep sending athletes? We are talking about rugby. He's somehow becoming consistent with sending teams to the Olympics. You are talking about athletics, sending teams. You're talking about volleyball. Yes. What are some of the key take-homes that they called out that was big for them in terms of ensuring their participation in qualification?
Yeah, the take-homes or the issues that came out clearly that these successful sports have had is that they have vibrant youth programs. Their technical bench is more of well-resourced, and again the vibrant league, So for you, and then they start their qualifications early. Every discipline has a different qualification path. So it's upon you as a federation to identify which path is easier for you. Because if you wait too long, then it becomes more difficult and difficult. If you remember, rugby qualified last year. Malaika Strikers qualified last year. Athletics, it's a ranking system. So it's something that starts from, from the end of this current Olympics all the way to the last 2 days to the competition. So if you start early, then you craft different paths and make it easier for you. But if you wait for too late or focus on rather main championships, then it becomes difficult. So the reason why we are having this kind of meeting is to try and educate each other on how best to come up with a plan that can enable you make it to the games at the right time.
Interesting indeed, because, excuse me, some of the key things that many will do is start preparations early. And CS Murkomen called, this out very strongly and called for urgent, action to broaden Kenya's participation. That is something that needs to start like today. Is NOCK going to maybe work in collaboration with the different sporting federations to see on how best they can support them so that we can have Kenya's participation broadened, as we prepare for 2028?
Yeah, National Olympic Committee has always been supportive to every federation. National Olympic Committee has programs that caters for all the disciplines. So it's only these disciplines to look at opportunities that can, help them in terms of preparations and in terms of preparation so that they can make it to the games. Of course, the government is always there, and NOCK, National Olympic Committee, always comes in whenever there are some delays with the government in terms of support or travel or even uniforms. So we assist all the federations equally because it's part of our mandate to prepare and to enter these athletes into this game. So the more, the better for us.
Mr. Ogolla, let's divert a bit from, the strategic workshop that you had in Sagana, and let's, shift focus again. That is more positive for Kenya and also positive for National Olympic Committee. And this is in regard to the Commonwealth Games Association, Sport Africa and Europe regional meeting that will be held in Mombasa in October between the 7th and 8th. It's the first time Kenya is holding a Commonwealth sport event of this magnitude. This is a big plus for Kenya.
Yeah, it is a big plus. Actually, it's the second time we are holding a big sporting event. Early this year, we did hold NOCK Secretary General's meeting, and then the treasurers. So I think out of that meeting is how the Commonwealth saw the capacity that Kenya is a destination for such kind of big, workshops. In terms of benefits, of course, sports tourism, that when people come in, we get to interact, they get to know what goes on in our country. Of course, they'll not only sports, but they'll get involved in other sectors. It gives us a big platform in terms of holding future events. We are having beach games upcoming. We've held like 2 beach games before. So if these Commonwealth countries, the regional, Europe and Africa, it's a regional meeting between Europe and Africa. When they come around, they're going to Mombasa. We'll have an opportunity to show them our beaches. And of course, assure them that should an opportunity arise, we'll be able to host these games. And that's why the reason why you hold such kind of meetings, just to build rapport and of course, build that confidence that you are able to execute.
I mean, interesting, because we're looking at 30 countries from Europe and Africa coming in. Like you call it out, not just sports tourism. There'll be money exchanging hands. The locals will benefit out of the same, but it's also selling Kenya, like you rightly put it, as a sporting destination, not just holding meetings, but also showing our capability of hosting, because you've done the beach games before, and very interesting because the capability has been shown out in Mombasa, and it's becoming very popular.
Sure, it is, and it's something that we intend to continue doing until we, make it a continental event or even a global event. We have the facilities, we have the beaches, the hotels for accommodation, and I don't think the security and all that it would require to hold such events.
As we look at, some of the key objectives of this, and you called out some, is like strengthening relationships, planning for the 2026 Commonwealth Games that will be held in Glasgow, or aligning Commonwealth Games purpose and regional goals. This means that Kenya is slowly but taking its position as a country that can be used in terms of, bringing the rest together.
Yeah, centrally we are located. And of course, we've shown before that we can do it. You see, like in athletics, they hold, world-class events, and that shows that Kenya can hold any such big competition. AFCON is also on the way. If we are able to deliver on that, so if we can deliver on soccer, deliver on athletics, deliver on beach games, these kind of conferences, we will make our country be the area, or rather the country to go to in terms of sports events and workshops.
Some of the big names expected in this is Commonwealth Games Federation President Chris Jenkins, not forgetting CEO Katie Sadlier, and of course our very own CS Kipchumba Murkomen and Paul Tergat, and of course SG Mutuku, not forgetting you, Mr. Ogolla, and the rest of NOCK. To have the Commonwealth Games Federation President, come and grace this is a big plus for for NOCK.
Yes, it is a big plus. Everybody wants to have that kind of an opportunity. And of course, you'll earn the opportunity if you are shown that you can deliver. So having Commonwealth Games President and the entire leadership coming here is a very big plus for us. And of course, this will, we want to deliver a world-class event. And not just have the workshop, but we want to put it at a level that can, at a world-class level that anybody from all over the world will, enjoy it, or will see that we as a country are able to, deliver on such kind of things. And again, in terms of regional, I think one of the main objectives is to build regional relationships, or even have countries, the way AFCON is being planned, have countries, regional countries host events together. It will be a workshop. People will discuss on how to enhance or build on the movement, the Commonwealth movement, to enhance the quality of, of events in the Commonwealth. And of course, hosting, and of course, review what has happened before, and help us, or help the Commonwealth countries come up with a plan that can make the movement, better in terms of relationships, in terms of events, in terms of even sustainability, and working together just to ensure that all the members are, are happy and meeting the objectives within the movement.
Remember, we are talking to Mr. John Ogolla, who is the Deputy Treasurer, National Olympic Committee of Kenya, and also the lead technical and performance team with us in studio to just help us unpack what's been happening around NOCK. And like mentioned earlier on, they had their strategic review workshop in Sagana, just to review or do a post-Olympics, of the entire Olympics performance. And it is the first time this is happening, which is a move in the right direction. Also just giving us highlights of what to expect. Remember, Kenya has been given the nod by Commonwealth Games Association, that is CGA, to host the Commonwealth Sport Africa and Europe regional meeting in October here in Nairobi between the 7th and the 8th, bringing together over 30 countries from Africa and Europe to be graced by Mr. Jenkins, Mr. Chris Jenkins, who is the Commonwealth Games Federation President, and CEO, CEO Kate Sadlier, also coming in. Sorry, just to repeat that again, Commonwealth Games Federation President Chris Jenkins will be gracing the same. Then we also have the CEO, Katie Sadlier, coming in to grace the same event. A big plus for Kenya in terms of showcasing its ability to host international conferences, to host international events, in terms of showing what Kenya can do in terms of being a sport destination in the world. Congratulations to NOCK, and of course looking forward to the same, and we'll see some of the things that will come out. The main objectives for this, for this regional meeting will be to start planning for 2026 Commonwealth Games that will be held in Glasgow, or then aligning Commonwealth Games purpose and regional goals, which is a big thing. Kenya seems to be taking lead on this. Let's shift focus back into the regional, the strategic meeting that was held in Sagana. And one key thing that came out is you're not just looking at the past, you're already looking forward.
Yes.
You have the Dakar 2026 Youth Games, Youth Olympic Games that are coming up. It came out very strong, and it clearly showcases Kenya's ability to start looking at the future.
Yes.
What can we expect?
For the last, I believe, 3 years, we've been running youth programs. And of course, we were doing this in mind with the youth games. So all the federations are expected to have youth programs. As we support these programs, even the government is having youth programs. So with the youth programs, we are developing the teams for the future beyond even 2028. So if we start now, if somebody's in Form 1 now, in 4 years' time, they'll be participating in LA. And of course, the ones who are in schools, we're looking at 2032. So with vibrant youth programs, we have to, make it a priority that the youth programs must run. Because it's out of these youth programs that we build on the senior team. So what came out clearly is that we must emphasize and re-emphasize youth development programs. Something that also came out well is that we need to start embrace the use of science in sports. We need to have the technical or the tactical issues that relate to every discipline, planned well in terms of building these athletes from an early age to a later age. As you all know, most of us, or in Kenya or in Africa, people starting to play these games at a very late age, and that is a very big disadvantage to us when we reach to the highest level of competition. But with youth programs, it will make us build strong athletes, have athletes stay long in the sport, and of course athletes with a good technical know of the sport. So we are looking forward to Dakar with a very positive mindset, because we've had, like the last 3 years, we've been working on our youth, and some of the youths who have been going through these programs were in we had Commonwealth Youth Games in Trinidad and Tobago, and some of them performed very well. And of course, with the vibrant school system and the secondary school system, put together with the federation, with the support of the government and National Olympic Committee, with the various programs that we have with the Olympic Solidarity, NOCK, and the rest, we believe we'll put up a very strong team going forward.
Interesting that you've noted different stakeholders that are key in terms of delivering the youth activities. And remember, if we don't focus on the youth, then we have no business focusing at the top, because you have to build it from the base. You've mentioned, Kenya secondary schools, sports associations, which are very critical as well, and working in collaboration with the different federations and government as well. And of course, National Olympic Committee coming into this. We witnessed something which was very rare, if not unique from NOCK, that you held camps, in Kitengela, or in preparation, just bringing up some of the best talent in terms of trying to nurture them and also encourage them and give them some of the best trainings, that they can ever come through in camps. What brought up this, and are we likely to see more of this?
Yeah, of course, more of this is to come, and everybody has realized that the future is in the youth. So we have to start developing our youth as early as possible. NOCK has even gone further to have a team, a performance team, that works with the coaches and works with the athletes directly, just to support their technical capacity in terms of delivering, delivering athletes who are all round in terms of mental capability in terms of nutrition, in terms of data, use of data, in terms of, the various science components that comes with sports. So we have data analysts, we have nutritionists, mental skills, performance, such kind of things. We have a medical commission that is very vibrant. We have Chiromo partnering with us in terms of psychological support, social support, psychosocial support. And we had Tasker also coming to give in some education on financial management, Safaricom. So we're just trying to ensure that all the athletes, as young as they are, going from young to the old, getting all that information and education that can help build on their capacity, to be able to compete, compete technically, compete with a good health, and of course stay and enjoy the sport. Stay long and enjoy the sport.
It's interesting that at a young age, you're already impacting a very good thing in the young athletes that you enjoy the process.
Yes.
Just don't wait to enjoy the success, but enjoy the process as well. If you're already talking about financial management, you're talking about health,
branding,
or psychological branding and stuff. It clearly shows that you are trying to make the athletes, the young athletes, and when I say athletes, I'm not talking about athletics. I'm talking about young sportsmen and sportswomen, regardless of the sporting discipline that they are in, that they can enjoy the process as they wait to enjoy the results, later on. You mentioned something that is very critical in the present world, and that's sports science. Technology, you've mentioned collecting data, you've mentioned a lot in terms of just trying to find out. We are seeing things are changing. You have gym sessions as opposed to the yesteryears where one would hit the road and you're running. The present world is there is a lot of sports science. What is NOCK doing in terms of co-opting sports science and also bringing the different federations, technical teams together so that sports science is something that is not left behind? A good case is athletics. And we're talking about the 3,000 meter steeplechase. Sports science has completely changed it. You see the running technique, the jumping on the hurdles, jumping on the water, things have changed. Are you working with sport federations to just address sports science and see how best we can make it better going into the future? Because science is taking over.
Yeah, we've had like 2 meetings with the sports directors from all the federations. And this meeting was just to help people understand the various components of performance, the technical areas or whatever area that every coach or every sport director needs to know. I mentioned that we have a team of experts, of sports experts from various fields. And during these Paris Games, we had several meetings with various sports, different sports disciplines, just to ensure, just to educate them, monitor their programs, discuss with them, just to collaborate and work together and see to it that whatever programs that they have in place, whatever techniques that they are using are up to date, of course, based on science. We've also gone ahead and we are partnering with universities. We are about to sign an MOU with Nairobi University just to ensure that our coaching personnel and coaching staff are developed or educated on the new emerging trends, and that all the coaches that we have, or the coaches that are taking national responsibilities, are well equipped to be able to run their responsibilities well. We also yet to sign an MOU with KU. We're also about to sign an MOU with KU just to teach on Olympic values. But in terms of the technical issues, the science, the universities, we've brought in experts, talked to our coaches, and of course, soon we will launch this program with the Nairobi University, and coaches will enlist for this coaching education. And of course, we will expand it to the whole region, and of course, it will be in levels. So everybody who is willing and interested will be given an opportunity to attend class and be taught, the science of sports. As you know, most of our coaches just learned to be coaches, through, maybe not through, but having played the sport. So they got the responsibility to be the coach, of course, attending seminars here and there. But as you know it, as a country, we do not have a coaching structure that can, educate and develop you as a coach to be able to compete at that high level.
Interesting, because sports science is a very key component of the present day sporting activities. CS Murkomen called out something very, very strongly, and this is accountability and transparency. Is it something that you're working with the sport federations to ensure that you drive it home so that they can attract more sponsors, they can attract more partners that can come in and put in resources that can help grow the sport?
Yeah, accountability comes in several ways. It starts with the selection of the team.
Correct.
Both athletes and the technical officials and even the management, beside the financial, bit of it. As you know, the sports registrar is really pushing and working hard to ensure that every sports federation is compliant in terms of governance structures and governance, conducting elections and ensuring that, everything is done in a manner that is transparent, that something that can be audited, that even sponsors and the government, can come and look at what you're doing and they be happy with it. So accountability, as NOCK, as National Olympic Committee, we are trying to re-emphasize and emphasize to the federations that the criteria of doing things must be transparent and must be justified and must be backed with the papers and certificates, so that we don't have people, just bringing in friends or relatives or to be team members. We want a Kenyan who deserves to be in the team on merit, either as an athlete, as a coach, or as a manager. So that's something that we are really working on, and federations have complied. We didn't have anybody go to the sports tribunal to challenge any selection of an athlete into the team, except there was some issues with the volleyball team, but that was like an in-house thing, which they resolved, and everything went on well.
Mr. Ogolla, you're not just impacting this to them, you're leading by example, because for the first time, there were no issues of NOCK being told, explain why so-and-so in the team. And you even published, the traveling contingent.
Yes.
So you're leading by example.
Yeah, definitely. If you, you have to lead by example.
You preach water and don't take wine.
Yeah, how will people believe you? And that has been a challenge. So it's good to lead by practice. You need to practice what you preach so that everyone can align and move on the same path.
Interesting, and well done, because you have to lead from the front in terms of doing the same. As you look at Dakar 2026, I believe that as NOCK, you've also started trying to see beyond the bends by looking at 2028 Los Angeles Games. Is it something that you're trying to keep an eye on and start putting the hurdles now in terms of making the baby steps that will see us perform well in 2028?
Yes, that was part of the reason why we had the strategic meeting. It's all about putting plans into place early enough as we look beyond even 2028. And of course, we had experts who came in to take us through the planning process, the management process, and then also the technical aspect of planning that we need to put in place so that we can move through a clear path towards 2026, 2028, and even beyond.
I look at it and they say failing to plan is planning to fail.
Right.
I hope and want to believe that the federations took it seriously, and some of the federations that Kenyans expected to have athletes go to the Olympics and didn't manage must have taken it seriously. I'm talking of sports like boxing, where Kenya has always been known to be regulars, despite us winning the last gold medal through courtesy of the late Robert Wangila Napunyi in the yesteryears. But there are federations that have an opportunity if they start working now. Was that the message that you have to start now? I know some will say that the qualification process, but there are those who will say still other athletes from other countries qualified, which means they did something to qualify.
Humphrey, as a nation, we are really blessed with talent.
A lot.
We are really blessed. If you ask me, from my experience as an athlete, as a coach, as a manager, and now at the level where I participate in making policy, one of the challenges that we've had as a country is coaching. We do not have structures that can help us as a country build on that capacity. We have sports academy, which should help us. I know they have programs in place, but this program has not really impacted on the federations. Yeah? So everybody has realized that we need to do things differently. And we know that if we do things slightly differently, yeah, if we just do things slightly differently, just in an organized manner, we embrace that good planning practices, the technical practices that we need to put in place. You mentioned the steeplechase, yeah? I talked to one of our athletes last time while we were in Glasgow, and I asked her, where have you been practicing? Have you been, jumping the hurdles? She told me no. She just, run, and then come and meet the hurdles at Kasarani during the trials. She runs, wins, go to the Commonwealth and win. Now, as a country, or as NOCK, or as other sports stakeholders, if we avail these basic things and embrace just basic science, yeah, and basic principles of management, just have good planning practices put in place, even the US will feel our...
They will feel our weight.
They will feel our weight, for sure. We just do things, and we are lucky we do and make away with it. But the moment we start employing, look at the universities. If you look at the American teams, all the athletes comes from the university. Why can't our universities, also, help us in terms of churning out, athletes and world beaters? We've struggled with, people come from primary, secondary, after secondary, then they get lost somewhere.
Correct.
Instead of transiting to the universities and then now to the federations. Yeah, but you see, there is a gap somewhere that needs to be covered.
Yeah. Mr. Ogolla, I totally agree. We need to cover and bridge that gap because they perform well in schools, they disappear, and if they ever reappear again, they are different completely. Your parting shot as we wind up. Oh, you wanted to say something?
We have sports scientists at the university, so I expect that we should have good athletes from the university.
Correct.
If they're participating in any league, they should be top.
Correct.
Right? But this is not happening. So we just need to find a way, figure out how we can use our technocrats at the university to translate that knowledge back to the federations or to the schools so that our athletes can perform, can embrace, can use that science to perform at the level that we Kenyans desire them to perform, because we expect them and we want them to win, but we're not giving them the enough support.
Totally agree.
Totally. It's just out of sheer luck and talent that we have that we win. We are not winning that we have the best, coaching techniques or even best support in terms of resources, but we are trying as a country. The Ministry of Sports, through the Sports Fund, has really tried in terms of supporting all the federations, to participate and even acquire some equipment that can enable them to perform.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ogolla. We appreciate you making time. We appreciate what National Olympic Committee of Kenya is doing in terms of just having a very quick strategic, meeting to review and also plan ahead, because you have to plan for the future based on the analysis that you got and what the data is telling you on the previous performances. We appreciate you making time. We'll be keeping an eye more so on the meeting that is coming up. That's the Commonwealth Games Association, meeting that's coming up in Mombasa. We wish you all the best, and pass our regards to SG and of course to Paul Tergat, who is the president as well, Mutuku as well. Thank you very much. We appreciate your time.